What's going on, everybody? No baby yet. No baby yet for the people watching. We're a little delayed for people watching, listening live. No baby yet. Just a little delay, a little technical difficulty, trying to get some sound ready for you guys before the show. And I just didn't want to play, but we figured it out. We hacked the system is what we did. Speaking of hacking the system, well, other than that, welcome to the Farzy show here at the Steven Singer Studios. My name is Marc Farzetta. Remember that guy that hijacked the show yesterday at the very end? And he was like, I don't think Joel Embiid gets his over tonight at 28.5 because I think they're going to blow out the Orlando Magic and he might not get in there at the end of the game and he might not get the 28 points. I'm going to go with Maxey 16.5, go with the over there. Man, that guy was an idiot. Duh! If I had a clown mask somewhere here, maybe that'll be my next prop after a twerking penguin, twerking Christmas penguin, maybe my next prop will be just a clown mask for the complete ass that I am. Joel Embiid, historic night last night against the Orlando Magic. And by the way, not only were they not blowing out the Orlando Magic early, they were trailing at halftime, got booed off the floor, only for Joel Embiid to come back and drop 50 on an incredible night. Oh, my goodness. Here's a couple of quick numbers on Joel Embiid's night for those that haven't seen it quite yet. 50 points, 12 rebounds. Only player with 50-plus in fewer minutes was Klay Thompson in 2018 in the shot clock era. So that dates back to 1954 and 1955. Joel Embiid, second fastest player to 50 points in less than 27 minutes played. Not too bad from JoJo. Also, the 50-point game is the second in his career. He now joins Wilt Chamberlain and Allen Iverson as the only 76ers with multi 50-point games. He now has 2. Joel Embiid does. Allen Iverson had 10, and Wilt Chamberlain had 11. So he's still got a way to go to catch those guys. But it was a classic case of the Philadelphia Joel Embiids again last night as they got the victory. We got that game we got to get into today. And then Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni addressed the media yesterday to talk about the end of the season and what the direction is of the franchise going forward. And wouldn't you know it, Jalen Hurts is their starting quarterback in 2022. At least right now, he's going to be their starting quarterback going into next season. Now, if you listen to that press conference, which I know a lot of people did yesterday, I saw all the reaction on Twitter. Oh, there we go. It's done and sealed. He's the guy. I don't believe them. As of right now, yes, that is the case. But if somebody else becomes available, or if they fall in love with some draft prospect, there's going to be a quarterback competition. There may even be a quarterback competition going into next season with Gardner Minshew still being here. You don't know. And as much as I'm rooting for Jalen Hurts and want it to be Jalen Hurts, I don't want to see the Eagles overpay to even bring in Aaron Rodgers or bring in Russell Wilson, or especially don't bring in Deshaun Watson because we don't know what his future is in the league. We don't know how many games he's going to miss. I think the safe bet for the Eagles is to continue the progression of Jalen Hurts. I've been saying that for months, and hopefully that will continue. And everything the Eagles said yesterday would lead you to believe that's the direction of the franchise. That's where they're going to go, that Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting quarterback. I still don't believe them. And although they didn't come out with the right now phrase, one of the things I always go back to with Doug Peterson, one of the things they even go back to with Howie Roseman was how Carson Wentz was the future of this franchise. They even made that statement with money with all the guaranteed dough they gave Carson Wentz just 2 years ago, folks. And how's that working out so far? Well, he's in Indianapolis, so there you go. And now Indianapolis probably not even want him as their quarterback of the future. But anyway, I digress. One of the things they got into with the Carson Wentz situation was right now Carson Wentz is our starting quarterback, or right now Sam Bradford is our starting quarterback. And then they draft Carson Wentz. Chase Daniel, you're our backup. Oh, Sam Bradford's out. Chase Daniel, you stay as the backup. Carson Wentz becomes the starter. Like it's just the thing that it's a weird thing that always takes place in these press conferences because things change from the minute they walk away from the microphone. And although they said all the right things about Jalen Hurts, I file a lot of that under, well, what are they going to say? And one of the things we have for you today is a 2.5-minute piece on all the Jalen Hurts future questions that were asked of Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni yesterday at the NovaCare Complex. So you yourself can decide what to make of what the Eagles brass had to say. Brass, Sirianni, head coach, right? What Howie Roseman had to say about the future of Jalen Hurts as well as Nick Sirianni, because I actually think Nick Sirianni said the only thing that I feel would hold up in the court of quarterback law when it comes to evaluating his quarterback going into next year and whether or not the reins will really be in the hands of Jalen Hurts going forward, at least into the 2022 NFL season. But let's start it off with something that you really can't argue, and that is the fact that Joel Embiid, I don't give a damn what Jokic did last night. He went off another triple-double. Fine. Joel Embiid needs to be the MVP of the NBA as soon as humanly possible. And it starts with last night. 50-point game in 27 minutes. This Sixers team was lost throughout the game. The only person that looked like he could carry this team to do anything last night, including a measly win over the awful Orlando Magic, was Joel Embiid, who came out with 20 points in the first quarter of last night's contest. Again, who's that idiot that said that he wouldn't cover the thing last night? Me! Anyway, he was just remarkable. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I recommend you hit up our friends at NBC Sports Philadelphia. I recommend you stay on this YouTube channel after the or YouTube little website here after this show today and check out all the highlights from last night's game because he was brilliant. Every aspect of his game, he was brilliant in. He was getting down low. He had great post presence last night. He had his turnaround jump shot. He had his fadeaway jump shot. He had his three-point shot. He had a step-back three-point shot that got him 47 points in that game. He was insane last night. He was vintage Joel Embiid doing whatever he damn well pleased on the basketball court. And if you get an opportunity to go back, if you didn't see the game last night, it's the Orlando Magic. That's a game I can miss. No. This was spectacular. And I go back to NPR radio, ladies and gentlemen, and I just say, make sure on your way to work today, make sure when you're getting up in the morning, you just take time to thank the basketball gods for Joel Embiid, and that Joel Embiid is here in Philadelphia. That's how great he was again last night. Don't have to take my word for it. Really interesting thing, a little back and forth between Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey before the game. Maxey finished with 14 points last night. So he did not hit his over. I couldn't have been more wrong on my approach to this game last night in the betting world. But anyway, Tyrese Maxey was talking to Joel Embiid before the game, and here's their little conversation that they had. This is pretty wild.
I was a fan. It was amazing to watch. I was like, I was messing with him before the game about who was he going to be tonight, Shaq, Dirk, because he can do everything. He was like, I'm going to be Joel. I was like, okay. You go be Joel then. And that's what he did.
Last night, he was Joel Embiid. He was incredible. There we go. That'd be another technical thing here. Anyway, so here's Joel Embiid after the game talking about that little exchange he had with Tyrese Maxey.
I said me because, at times, whenever I want, I'm able to be Shaq. And, whenever I want, I'm also able to be Dirk or Kobe or MJ, or any guards, really, meaning, shooting off the dribble or pull-ups or, ball handling, just a combination of everything offensively. So, I was okay tonight.
Just okay. He was just okay last night. Yeah, just okay. He carried the team. Just was a dominant performance. There's not really much more you could say. It's like we're running out of adjectives to describe the greatness of Joel Embiid, and it is a joy to watch him. And I know a lot of times we can get it wrong, and a lot of times we have gotten it wrong in this city with who to draft Ben Simmons, with Markel Fultz. Like, we have gotten it wrong and watched other players go on in other cities and just like, oh my goodness. And Paul Pierce is one of the guys that jumps to mind. Paul Pierce versus Larry Hughes, ladies and gentlemen. We've watched the wrong guy drafted so many times. And sure enough, what do we have? We have the right guy drafted. Very much so the right guy drafted in Joel Embiid. And well worth the wait. Well worth the wait. And it feels like in watching that game last night that the Sixers just, you got to get him help. I'm still not going to rush anything. I'm still waiting for Daryl Morey to fall in love, as I was saying yesterday. Don't settle for just some deal because you want to get some deal done. It's got to be the right deal. And I know a lot of us are growing impatient. I know a lot of people are jumping off that bandwagon of, no, stick it to bed. Who cares that we win this battle, Morey? No, it's not even about sticking at the Ben anymore. It's still about getting the best possible return for Ben Simmons. And even though Joel Embiid is amazing and an MVP candidate, and his odds to win the MVP trophy last night were cut in half by how well he was playing with that 150-point performance, even though all that happened, even as great as that is, still, you got to be patient throughout this entire, dare I say it again, process with the 76ers and what they're going to do when they move on from Ben Simmons eventually. I still don't see it happening by February 10th. I would love for it to happen today. I would love for in the middle of the show, all of a sudden, Daryl Morey, 76ers agree to terms with, boom, whoever. And you get some superstar here in Philadelphia to play with Joel Embiid. Incrementally, just keep it pushing the ball forward a little bit isn't going to help this team win a championship. It might get them to the second round of the playoffs again. All right. But I don't know about getting them to the conference finals. I sure as hell don't know about getting them to the NBA finals, which is the ultimate goal, to get to that championship series and hopefully win that. And that's the ultimate goal. And they give us a parade in the city of Philadelphia. That would be pretty amazing if that were to happen. But I still don't see Daryl Morey rushing anything. He is dug in, as we said, all throughout yesterday. Joel Embiid also spoke to Ala Abdelnaby and Kate Scott after the game on NBC Sports Philadelphia about his performance. Listen to Joe after this, how calm he is. And also in the background, you might hear a couple of people profess their love for Joel Embiid. Listen to this.
Don't know. Just doing my thing. My teammates trusted me, putting me in the right positions to be able to dominate, and the coaches too. So I just did my job.
It's all you can ask for, a guy to just do his job, and that's exactly what he did in last night's game. It was spectacular. The thing that really gets me about Joel Embiid is just the overall versatility. And I remember, and this is a little thing, I used to go to this bar in Philly a lot that was around the corner from an apartment I had, and one of the Sixers assistant coaches at the time, I won't say who it was, lived in the same neighborhood. And once in a while, we'd be in there at the same time, and we'd shoot the you-know-what. And he was talking at the time, the Sixers had not seen Joel Embiid play in a game yet. He had not played for the Sixers. He was drafted. He hadn't played in the game. You had Nerlens Noel. You had Jahlil Okafor, okay? And the guy was trying to explain to me, he goes, look, Nerlens Noel is like right around here. Jahlil Okafor is like right around here. And then this Joel Embiid guy is just all the way up here with what his potential could be in the NBA. And I'm thinking, well, of course he's telling me that. He's a coach. It's the one guy I haven't seen yet. And these other guys really aren't that impressive. So, of course, he's going to tell me how great this other guy that I haven't seen yet is. And then sure enough, every time I watch Joel Embiid, I go, oh, my God, he is just as good as that coach was advertising. He is lights out. And if he doesn't win an MVP, if he doesn't win a championship, those will be two travesties, one greater than the other, in Philadelphia. If he doesn't win an MVP, if he doesn't win a championship. And it's up to Daryl Morey to make sure he surrounds this guy with talent. If you're able to unload Tobias Harris somehow magically, if you're able to unload anybody to bring in a superstar to play next to Joel Embiid, it has to happen. The Sixers right now, as far as I'm concerned, and Daryl Morey, have a blank check with anybody's name on it other than Joel Embiid to trade away, to bring back a star to play next to him, to make sure this team makes it to at least a championship series for an opportunity to give this city that parade. Last night was an amazing night. Just get this guy some more help, and this Sixers team could be untouchable with the talent of Joel Embiid. Let's hope that happens. People talk about untouchables all the time in trades. What about a team being untouchable if you get help for a guy you have on this squad that's already an MVP candidate, a guy that's already an all-star many times over? And to think, watching this game last night, how good this team could be if you did get that perfect player to play next to Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey might develop into that in time. I don't see it right now, but he might develop into that in time. I think he's not a score-first mentality player at all on this team. I think he feels like he needs to take a backseat to a guy like Tobias Harris. I actually feel like if the Sixers moved Tobias Harris, and I was watching this last night when I watched Tobias Harris continually bring the ball up, with Tyrese Maxey just be like, hey, can I have the ball? And I saw Tobias Harris bring the ball up. I had this thought, and it's what I always go to for a great reason, and it's not basketball, but it's sports in general. I always go back to the Pat Gillick move of trading away Bobby Abreu and giving that team to Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. Like that kind of changing of the guard, moving on from the previous veteran leader or the longest tenured player to go to the younger generation, to go to the new era of team, which was led by Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and those guys and Cole Hamels, of course. That was a great move because it changed the guard. I feel like if Tobias Harris was suddenly traded in a Ben Simmons deal or wherever, I feel like that would help the maturation process of Tyrese Maxey expedite. I feel like that process would be expedited if you actually traded away Tobias Harris and allowed Tyrese Maxey to take more of an ownership role next to Joel Embiid. And that might be the case when they bring in somebody else, that Tyrese Maxey would feel like this is even more of his team, even though he would still probably be number 3 between Joel Embiid, number 1, whoever they bring at number 2, and then Maxey at number 3. But I feel like overall that would help the maturation process of a guy like Tyrese Maxey as well, if he is not incorporated in any type of trade. So I look forward to seeing how all this plays out, and I am, yes, rooting for it to happen in the not-too-distant future. I just do not think it is going to happen rather soon. And why is that, Adrian Wojnarowski?
Like, there is no movement.
There's no movement in the Ben Simmons deal. Nothing as of yet. Sixers are going to be back in action tomorrow night. They're going to take on the Clippers. No Kawhi Leonard, obviously. No Paul George. Clippers actually 2 games under 500 coming into the Wells Fargo Center tomorrow night, 7 o'clock tip-off in South Philadelphia. Let's talk some football, shall we? There's a very famous GIF from a very famous movie that came out, I believe it's 18 years ago. That movie's called Anchorman. You guys might know I'm a fan because I've shown this before. That's my friend Ron Burgundy. All right. There's a line from Ron Burgundy in that movie where he just simply says, I don't believe you. And I feel whenever I hear Howie Roseman or Nick Sirianni talk about the future of Jalen Hurts and him being the Eagles starting quarterback in 2022, my thought is, I don't believe you. Right now, that might be the case. But like I said, as soon as they walk away from the microphone, that could change. So here's what I'm going to do for you, folks. I'm going to let you hear every question and answer, so you have full context here. The only one edit I did was from today's guest, Rob Maaddi, when he asked a 2-part question. One was about draft capital for next year. It didn't have to do with Jalen Hurts, so I cut that part of the question out, and I just let you hear from Nick Sirianni, because he asked the question of Nick Sirianni when it came to Jalen Hurts and being open and honest with Jalen Hurts about the future. But here is, without further ado, and then we'll break it down piece by piece. Rather than play you guys at like 20 cuts, here's one long cut, 2.5 minutes of every question and answer, so you have proper context of Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman being asked about the future of Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia.
Feel comfortable with him as your quarterback moving into the future?
You know, we talk about Jalen and the growth he had, really first-year starter, second-year player, leading this team to the playoffs, tremendously impressed by his work ethic, his leadership. The last time we talked was during camp, and we said we wanted to see him take the bull by the horn, and he certainly did that.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
I know you say yes, but because you have extreme draft capital this year, you'll be in a better position than other teams to trade for like an elite level quarterback should one become available. While you said that, you know, Jalen answered a lot of questions for you, if the right player is available at the right cost, are you willing to make that kind of a move that might not be possible in future off seasons when you have fewer assets to trade?
Yeah, I think for us, what we're doing right now is we're evaluating our team and we're continuing to figure out ways to build. You know, we're not happy about the fact that, you know, our season ended in the playoffs. We want to build a team that has home playoff games, gets to play in front of our fan base. Really build a team that gets a bye. So those opportunities, those assets that you talk about allow us to continue to build. Really helps us add good players to this team. Our job is to look at everything, to evaluate every position, every player. We do that not only for right now in this moment, but we also do it so we have information when players become available at any position.
Are you going into this offseason with the mindset that Jalen Hurts is your quarterback in 2022?
Yes. I think for us, we got to do whatever we can to continue to help him develop. And how do we do that? By surrounding him with really good players. Players continue to grow. That's a huge part of developing. They grow. How they are in their second year is not how they're going to be in year 4, 5, 6, and 7. And they're also products of the people around them. So that's on us to continue to build this team.
Have you communicated to Jalen that he will be the starting quarterback going into next season? And will you address with him what's probably going to be endless rumors about you pursuing someone else?
Jalen knows where he stands with us. He knows he's our quarterback. That's how do you know where you stand with a coaching staff? Because you communicate and you talk over and over and over and over again. And so Jalen knows where he stands with us. I thought he did a great job of getting better throughout the year, as we've talked about. And so, yeah, there's no secrets there. He knows he's our guy.
Well, there you go, folks. Hopefully you got a little bit out of that, what I was hoping you would, despite still an audio issue. Yes, I'm pushing buttons is what's happening with all that. But here's what we could break down from all that. First question was Howie Roseman being asked about whether or not they see themselves going forward with Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback. Ruben Frank asked the question. He kind of talked in a roundabout way for a while, wasn't too specific, and then Rube nailed him down with, so is that a yes? Yes, that's a yes. When the question was, do you see yourselves going into 2022 with him as your starting quarterback? Yes, Jimmy Kempski followed up. Well, what about all the assets you have? You could basically get anything you want. You yourselves have a blank check to get any quarterback as long as they want to come to Philadelphia. Yeah, that's great, but we still want to stick with Jalen Hurts. We're still evaluating. That was the first real kind of wishy-washy answer from Howie Roseman. Everything else could be under the category of, well, I just don't want to say too much. But this one was about evaluating the team at all times. And once you just acknowledge that you're evaluating, even in a couple of months when the new league year starts and you make a trade for another quarterback or you trade up in the draft because you might have your eye on a quarterback. Oh, well, you said that you were going to go in with Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback. I said we're evaluating at all times and things change all the time. Like, that's how quickly you could, weasel your way out of this conversation. Because when you hear everyone yesterday, or you read everyone yesterday on Twitter talking about how, they commit, you see all the memes pop out there. I saw Adam Schefter put out something on ESPN saying that, Jalen Hurts is our starting quarterback in 2022. It could change the drop of a hat. It could change at any minute. Well, at the time, we didn't know that Aaron Rodgers wanted to come to Philadelphia. Russell Wilson really liked Devontae Smith. We didn't know that Deshaun Watson really wanted us to be here. And look, all his legal trouble. What legal trouble? We're good to go here. We didn't know that Kenny Pickett was going to torch everyone in the Senior Bowl or whatever. We didn't, whatever it might be. They didn't know that all that was going to change at the time that they had that press conference. So whatever they said then really doesn't matter. It's nice that that's the mindset now, but in all honesty, if Howie Roseman comes out and Nick Sirianni comes out in this press conference and they both say, yeah, Jalen Hurts is okay. We're always trying to improve. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, the minute they say that, any type of draft capital, any types of trade capital, any type of leverage they had in any type of future deal is, well, you guys didn't really like him anyway, so why should we give you what we're going to give you for a guy that you don't even see as your starting quarterback. Like, they weren't going to say anything different. The only thing that I felt was will lead to the Eagles looking very weaselly is actually what Nick Sirianni, if they do end up trading Jalen Hurts or do end up having a different starting quarterback next season, the only thing that I see is kind of a real not cool moment is when Nick Sirianni said, yeah, you have open communication with your players all the time. Jalen knows he's our guy. If after that, because when he's our guy, after that means that to me, of everything, even what Howie Roseman had to say, that to me is the biggest convincing argument that Jalen Hurts will, in fact, be the Eagles starting quarterback next year. Because Nick Sirianni, all you can say about him, I think he's a good dude. And I think he is open and honest with his players. And if he says, hey, wait, Jalen knows where he stands with us, and leaves it at that, then that could mean anything. You've talked to Jalen, hey, look, we got to improve the team. However, we like you right now. You're our guy going forward. That's where we see you right now at this given time, but things can change. If that's what he said to him, then that's open and honest. That's pretty transparent. But if he said, you're our guy, you're a guy going forward, you're our guy, and then all of a sudden they turn around and trade him, oh, that sucks. Oh, that sucks. Because if you want to be a new head coach and you want to come in and you want to make changes, or you're the general manager of this team like Howie Roseman and you want to make changes, just tell a guy like Jalen Hurts, who has risen above all the conversation throughout this season about Deshaun Watson and what they could do in the offseason, bringing in another guy, even in bringing in Gardner Minshew, who just started one game against the Jets, and people are already talking about, quarterback controversy. Jalen Hurts took it like a man throughout this entire season and rose above it, just like he said he would, even in training camp. He said, I'm above it all. I'm above it all. When it came to the Deshaun Watson conversation, I'm above it all. When it came to Aaron Rodgers conversation, I'm above it all. Love that about him. Love that mindset in any player. But if you're going to come in and you're saying you're going to make changes, you're going to come in and you're going to say, Jalen, you're our guy for now. But going forward, still yet to be determined. Be honest. That's all these players really want. That's all any employee in any business ever wants. Just to be honest. And if Nick Sirianni is going to go out there and tout honesty and mention that, and how do you have a good relationship with your players? You're open and honest with them. Well, open and honest, you're telling him he's your starting quarterback in 2022. He's our guy. Then that is pretty much all I really need to hear. And it's funny to say that about Nick Sirianni and not Howie Roseman, because Howie's always looking to be wheeling and dealing. If there was one thing to pull away from this press conference that was anything close to ironclad that Jalen Hurts would be the starting quarterback, it would be more so what Nick Sirianni had to say about, I told him he's our guy. More so than anything Howie Roseman said in this press conference. It was actually Nick Sirianni that gave me the most convincing argument that Jalen Hurts would actually be the starting quarterback next year. We'll see how it actually plays out, obviously. Tim McManus also asked the question to Howie. Howie answered the question about Hurts being the guy going into next year. You're going into this offseason with him with the mindset that he's your starting quarterback. Howie Roseman said yes to that. Then our guest today, who's coming up in a second, Rob Maaddi, asked if they communicated that to Jalen Hurts, and that's where you heard Nick Sirianni simply say, yeah, I told Jalen he's our guy. He knows where he stands with us. It's the most convincing argument I've heard. Still don't trust him. I still think the Eagles kick the tires on everything, and I think the asking price will either be too high, or I think that either Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson will simply not want to come to Philadelphia, or even Deshaun Watson, whatever the Eagles decide to do in that situation. We might not. And I saw that I only caught the headline of it. Deshaun Watson could want to come to Philly. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll see about that. But still, with all the legal trouble surrounding that, I think any NFL team is just bonkers nuts to make a deal for a guy. They have no idea how long he's going to be available, how much he's going to be available in the first year of that trade, at least. Now, the NFL class for the draft class this year is not supposed to be anything worth bragging about when it comes to the quarterback position. I still think that the Eagles will draft a quarterback at some point in this draft. I just don't think it's going to be in the first round. And I think when push comes to shove, I think the Eagles, here's my prediction, I think the Eagles, although we'll kick the tires in the offseason about another quarterback and around other quarterbacks, I think Jalen Hurts will be the number one guy in 2022. I think he has earned that. I am curious to see how he performs in 2022. His second year as a full-time starting quarterback in the NFL. If a guy could get that, as I've made the argument already, it could get a team into the playoffs. If a guy could get in the Pro Bowl consideration, can have a 5-week stretch where he led the NFL in QBR, then yeah, I will go ahead and say he deserves another shot to see how he can continue to progress as this team starting quarterback. And I think that would be the wise play for the Eagles. Now, for the people that are looking at this and saying, well, like Jimmy Kempski asked the perfect question. You have what do you have now? You have 15, 16, and 19 as your draft picks, or 16, 19. You have 3 picks in the middle, the one in 15 to 20. You have 3 picks in that range. So you mean to tell me you're not going to package those picks to move up and get a quarterback? You mean to tell me you might take 3 players with those 3 picks? I doubt that very much. So when you consider the capital, when you consider the assets there in the first round alone, I don't think they're going to take three players. I think I've said that before. I think what they end up doing is end up trading one of those picks to either move back in this draft or get another first-round pick next year. And then the Eagles will then decide whether or not Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback of this team for the foreseeable future, whether or not he's a franchise guy or whether or not he's just another placeholder before they get somebody that they really, really like under center in Philadelphia. That's the direction I see the Eagles going. If I have to make my prediction on who the starting quarterback is going forward, it is Jalen Hurts. After that, it'll be another evaluation year. But the Eagles will, I think, give themselves new life by trading one of their first round picks to either move back in this draft or move to next year's first round. And I think that's what Howie is ultimately going to do with the draft capital that he has right now. Before we get to our guest today, Rob Maaddi, I do want to let you guys hear about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Nobody's better. Valentine's Day just around the corner, and Steven has this beautiful emerald gold dip rose. If you haven't seen it yet, look at this thing. It's just spectacular. It's gorgeous. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Just under $59 for a gold dip rose, 24 karat gold dip rose from Steven Singer Jewelers. It doesn't get much better than this. It's a beautiful, perfect gift for Valentine's Day. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Looking to get engaged for Valentine's Day, less than a month away? Steven's got you covered. Ready for Love diamond engagement ring standing by at the ready. So make sure you take advantage of all he has to offer because he makes Valentine's Day so easy with the brand new rose color Emerald City Gold Dip Rose. 24 karat gold sparkling with deep green petals. This magical Emerald City rose will take her breath away this Valentine's Day as she opens up the beautiful gift box to reveal the real rose encased in brilliant 24 karat gold. It is absolutely stunning. So make sure you take advantage right now. Again, just $59 at IHateStevenSinger.com with a lifetime guarantee. Fast and free shipping in time for Valentine's Day. Real jeweler, real roses, real love. It's Steven Singer Jewelers, IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line and talk to our friend Rob Maaddi about all things Eagles and help us break down that press conference from yesterday. I know our guest today here joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest. I've known him for a long time. So much we even played flag football together once. That's how well I know this gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Associated Press, Mr. Rob Maaddi joins us. What's going on, Rob?
What's up, man? It is a pleasure and an honor to be on your show. And you know what? I would get up at 4:30 in the morning for you, Farzy. Anything you needed, man. I got you.
You're the man. Now, I was looking at your Twitter, and the one thing I don't see in your profile here is czar of AP writing. That's what I don't see. I don't see czar of NFL AP writing. Well, now, you were obviously covering the Eagles, covering Philadelphia sports forever for the AP, and then they kicked you up a couple of notches, my friend. What are you doing now exactly? Tell the good people.
Yeah, so after 21 years covering the Eagles and Philly sports, they decided to promote me to NFL writer, which kind of enabled me and the wife and the kids to move where we wanted to. And that's why we are in beautiful Florida, loving life, and real close to the GOAT Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I still made it up to – I got up to 5 Eagles games this year. I did get up to 5 Eagles games, and they win when I'm not there, Marc. So I'm going to try and stay away for the fan base.
Now, is it true that if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win another championship, that you'll be on the boat parade with Tom Brady catching the Lombardi Trophy? Is it going to be you this year?
So that's the plan. Like, we moved here hoping for a boat parade, and the Lightning let us down, so they didn't get the boat parade. But I did promise I had an opportunity way back. Remember when the Phillies won in 2008? They had a media float. They had a media float back then. I was a different Rob at that time, and it was like an 8 o'clock show up to get on the media float, and 8 a.m. was not going to work out for me. I was out partying the night before that. I missed my opportunity to get on the media float. The Eagles did not have one, so I've never been part of any kind of float. But if there's a boat parade opportunity for me, I'm on it. I don't know how to swim yet, but maybe I can figure that out.
Now, I just want to get this out of the way because it's going to occupy my mind and my thoughts while we talk football if I don't ask right now. In the new house with you guys moving to Tampa, do you still have the bigger closet compared to your lovely wife?
No, I lost that. I that was the trade-off. So I had the bigger closet in Jersey. We moved to Florida and we got a nice little lake view, but I lost the big closet and she lost the walk-in room closet. So you have to, you got to compensate in some areas,
Sure.
but it's the palm trees make up for it.
Gotcha. You were a part of that. This is an amazing segue. You were a part of that amazing press conference today with Howie Roseman, or yesterday at the time we air this, with Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni, where Howie Roseman said that, what do you know? Jalen Hurts will be our starting quarterback in 2022. Right decision, and how much can we believe Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni at this point?
Oh, I don't believe it at all because Marc, he said exactly what he had to say. He could not possibly say anything else. He's not going to say we're going to go out and look for another quarterback. It puts them in a bad situation. It puts Jalen in a terrible spot. And if you want to trade him, it diminishes his trade value. So he said exactly what he needed to say. That said, I don't necessarily believe that they know the answer yet. I think they're going to explore all their options. And when they do, they'll come back and determine, do they like anyone in the draft? They got the capital to move up. Do they have an opportunity to go get a Russell Wilson or a Deshaun Watson? Is that realistic? Is that legitimate? If they can, I think they're going to look to upgrade, and they don't have a bad fallback. I believe Jalen Hurts, if he was given another opportunity to be the starting quarterback and they surrounded him with the talent, could have success. But at this point right now, we just don't know. And based off the way he played in that playoff game against Tampa Bay, it's trending downward for him. Doesn't mean he can't be a winning quarterback yet. I think he can grow into that. But if there was an opportunity, man, to upgrade, you're going to go out there and upgrade. So he said exactly what he had to say, and I wouldn't expect anything else out of Howie or Nick Sirianni today.
Wholeheartedly agree with that. Do you think the competition for Jalen Hurts is more directed at to who could the Eagles draft or who the Eagles could bring in free agency or via trade?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't. If they go out and bring in a trade, I think that guy's going to be the starting quarterback because they might even use Jalen as a trade piece. I think if they go draft, they may bring in. If you're bringing in a first round guy, you could, depending on where you draft him, because there's really no top 5 quarterback that you're going to bring in who's going to be automatically the starting quarterback. So Jalen could be part of a competition with even Gardner Minshew. His name didn't come up today, which was surprising. We only get like one opportunity to ask a question. I tried to get 2 and a 1 and all that stuff.
I noticed that.
Yeah. And then 2-parter here, Nick and Howie, and you do what you can. But it's a possibility he can find his way into a competition. I thought he played well enough at times to give you hope for the future, but there was also some moments where you go, can we win a championship with Jalen? Can we win a playoff game with Jalen? And they certainly couldn't beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they didn't look like they belonged on the field with him.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, but the thing that jumped to my mind was the classic varsity versus freshman squad is really what it looked like to me. Devontae Smith was a guy that was hardly involved in the game plan, it seemed like, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why do you think it was him kind of disappearing at times? Was it more so Jalen not finding him or more so game plan from Nick Sirianni?
I think it was a combination. I think it was a combination of a game plan where he didn't really attempt to try and get him involved early. And I think that's what you got to do with Devontae Smith. I think you got to take advantage anytime he's manned up in coverage against anybody, single coverage. I would try and throw to Devontae Smith. And part of that was Jalen. Some of the throws may have been available and he just didn't feel comfortable. We've seen that a lot throughout the season where Jalen did not he had an opportunity to make a play and they flush him out and he just doesn't follow through with it. Doesn't feel comfortable making that throw. And that's something he's got to grow into. That's something that you hope he can develop into.
Mm-hmm. Last thing for you, my friend, when it comes to Brandon Brooks, I know he was asked about, Howie Roseman was asked about the rumor about Brandon Brooks possibly retiring. Have you heard anything on that front? Because it's been radio silent for both Brandon Brooks and the Eagles since he went down with an injury.
Yeah, and all year long, every time we tried to get an update on Brandon Brooks, it was, we don't have anything for you. We don't have anything for you new on that. It wouldn't surprise me. I have not heard anything definitively, Mark, but it would not surprise me if he wanted to move on. He's had so many injuries that he had to come back from, and the Eagles look like they've done okay filling in that area. They got a lot of depth at the offensive line position, and you're not going to pay Brandon Brooks what you've paid him in the past to really sit on the bench, sit on the sideline, and rehab.
All right, here's the last thing for you here. Last one official. Who's the Eagles starting quarterback in 2022? Do you think they're going to go out there against somebody, or will it be Jalen Hurts?
Oh, man. Kenny Pickett, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. I'm going to, but if I had to do a percentage, I'd go 51% Jalen Hurts.
Okay, there you go. I like that. All right, Rob, Maaddi, great catching up with you, of course. Thanks for first-time guest of the Farzy Show with Seth Joyner yesterday, first-time guest, and Rob Maaddi, first-time guest. I'm sure we'll have you again soon. I know you're at the park watching the girls right now. Your girls, your little girls. So go back to having fun. Go back to being daddy.
They just finished. They're kicking us out of the park. It went from nice and sunny to dark all of a sudden. Next time we do this, I'll be in my home studio. I promise you, Mark.
No problem, brother. All right, great talking to you. Say hi to Remy for you, and I'll talk to you soon.
I will. Thanks, man.
Rob,
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Rob Maaddi joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. I think today might be the single worst technical day we have ever had in the near 1-year history of the Farzy Show. And it's all my fault. I don't know. Rob was at a park because he's a nice guy and took his lovely young daughters, his twins, to the park. He wasn't at an establishment that some of you were claiming he was at. I see you guys in the chat. He's a great father. And his daughters were saying, Daddy, take me to the park. And he said, okay. He's like, I'll just hit up Farzy from the car. The lighting was terrible in the car. It was actually like light outside. And then in like 2 minutes in Florida, it got super dark. Anyway, nonetheless, I appreciate Rob Maaddi from the AP, old friend of mine, coming on the program to talk some Philadelphia Eagles football, especially after that press conference yesterday and, of course, him being a part of it. So thanks to him for joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. And let me tell you about the great people of Rothman Orthopaedics. Hey, remember the old you? Remember the one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, a finicky hip, or a shoulder? No longer does now what a shoulder should do. The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about the great people of WinView? I lost out on WinView last night, thanks to Tyrese Maxey hitting his under. Bet I'm on the over. But you can challenge a friend or family member to see who knows more about sports. See if they walk the walk as well as they talk the talk when they talk all that smack about how much they know about sports. Challenge them to a WinView contest right now and see if they can really walk the walk. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where you can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love so much. That's WinView. Download the WinView app right now to your phone. And when you download WinView, make sure you use, for any bet you might make, the great people of BetQL. If you want to get the advantage over a sports book or really anybody, make sure you do your research with BetQL. You need to download the BetQL app right now to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, and player props. And if you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, even a leaderboard for you to track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. PHLSportsNation.com. So make sure you follow everything in Philadelphia with PHL Sports Nation. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. No, don't. Al, I see you already. Don't you dare. No, it's not PJ's fault. It's not PJ's fault. It's all my fault. I'm a big dumb idiot, folks. Kevin, good morning. How are you? Dan, good morning. Let me be the first to say I'm so happy with the enforcer as part of our team. Not talking about Joel Embiid. He's nice, but he isn't JJ Arthur-Whiteside. So proud of him. Yes, I'm not even going to try to play another cut for you guys today because of my technical ineptitude. But yesterday, while the press conference was going on, Nick Sirianni was asked about his wide receiving core. He talked about how Quez Watkins could be a great number 2 wide receiver. Oh, he's got breakout speed. He's amazing. Breakaway speed is incredible. Devontae Smith, solid number 1 wide receiver. Just need to get him involved more in the game plan. Jalen Reagor needs to work a little harder. And that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he's kind of like our enforcer. Nick Sirianni was talking about his wide receivers. He was like, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he's kind of like our enforcer because he like pays the way to block. I don't want to say he pays the way because we have an offensive line. Does a great job, obviously. So I don't want to say that he pays the way. But J.J. Arcega-Whiteside pays the way as a wide receiver. We need a block. He's like an enforcer. He gets out there and he blocks, right? He called him an enforcer, folks. In a city where we experienced Dave the Hammer Schultz, all right? That's an enforcer. I've never seen any pictures of Dave the Hammer Schultz with a nice lady holding an umbrella over his head to block him from the sun. That's an enforcer. I don't think of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I don't look at him and go, whoa, that guy. That guy's an enforcer. I don't know. And plus, how many penalties did he have? Because they couldn't run a flipping rub route. Maybe he enforced a little too much. Coach that up a little bit there, Coach. Sean, good morning. John Cheeseborough, good morning. Mike Fuji, what's up, buddy? Nice to have you. John Cheeseborough, yesterday's press conference is exactly what I expected. They're not going to say anything of substance. We're going to show they're not going to show their hand and make their true intentions known. The only shocker was the enforcer. Wow, no doubt. Dan Schwartz, Marc just finished that blunt just a bit longer. Yeah, sorry about that. It was a late start. But again, because of my moronicness when it comes to technical difficulties, and apparently the English language as well. Maaddi, what's going on, Maaddi? Nice to have you. Mopar, John Cheese, it's your day. Guess what today is? What's today? Thursday? Yeah. Pretty sure the enforcer's mom was on Twitter last week defending him. Hey, it's mom. What are you going to do? As I like to tell all moms everywhere, stay out of the comment section. If the subject is your son or daughter, stay out of the comment section. Mopar, if you say Thumbs Day. Oh, use guys. That's what day it is. Cheese lovers. Cheese lovers day? Does it say National Cheese Day? Ooh, maybe tonight I'll make a nice tortellini. The wife's been craving tortellini. She's very pregnant, so I think I have to make some tortellini tonight. Let's see here. And I just got the new pasta press. That's right. Anyway, so yeah, fresh tortellini coming up. And that sage ravioli I made the other night, I finally figured out what the hell I was doing. I'm such an idiot. So I had this, I think I mentioned it. Yeah, I had this tortellini in Rome years ago. And it was in a sage butter sauce. And I thought I tasted like brown sugar or something in it. And I'm like, no way. There's no way there's brown sugar with a pasta dish. And sure as hell, I looked it up. Yeah, it's absolutely that. It's the only thing it was missing was a little brown sugar, a little brown butter, a little sugar. You know what I'm saying? So tonight, a little tortellini. Dip that in some sage butter, brown butter sauce. Make things happen. What else do we have here? Nice to see you. Mopar, and the Bluey is on again. Is that what you're calling my shirt, Bluey? Farzy, who does your wash at home? I do my wash at home. Farzy needs to be escorted to the studio by the enforcer. That's why the show is late. Mike Sielski is rumored to have been stalking Farzy about a guest, so the enforcer needed to do his job. We'll get Sielski on again. And I think Sielski could kick my ass. Like, have you ever seen him, like, in person? The guy works out. Me, not so much. Need a national buy Farzetta a different color shirt. Just once, I want to see him in black, purple, pink, rose. Chartreuse. That's another one. I wore a salmon color shirt. Some of the people from the early days of the show might remember that. It just looked pink on the camera. But the thing is, I'll get better lighting down here, and then I'll feel comfortable wearing darker color shirts. And whenever I wear the gray shirt, people are like, oh, it's emo Marc. Anyway, Fuji, Mark, it's all smoke and mirrors with our favorite GM, Howie Roseman. Yeah, you're absolutely right. John Cheeseborough, Farzi's 1920s voice or Farzi's NPR voice? You picked up on the 20s voice, the Walter Winchell? Yeah, did you? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All the ships at sea. Here's your report on World War II. Yeah. Every broadcaster does a Walter Winchell voice. You have to do that. The NPR voice is I think, Delicious Dish on Saturday Night Live, just coming through my own personality. April, good morning, April. Nice to have you. Farzi's pushing buttons again. John, yeah, I'm just a technical idiot. Ray's back, everybody. Welcome. Embiid didn't get help if he didn't make the trades. Wait, Embiid don't get help if he don't make the trades. He's going to be out of gas come playoffs. Waste of time. Harden's not the guy. He's starting to decline a little bit now if you get him. Okay. I do have a very similar concern. So Joel Embiid went back in the fourth quarter with like the Sixers up 20. Doc Rivers looked over at him and looked over at Sam Cassell actually and said, tell Joel he's going back in, but I don't want to play in any more than a minute. He played 58 seconds. He got his, 57 seconds. He got his 50th point and then took him out immediately. Now, some people might say, no, Joel Embiid has to rest. You got to keep him out of the game. Yes. Any game where Joel Embiid's not about to get 50 points, keep his ass on the bench. But Joel Embiid to get a 50-point night and put that on his MVP resume, yeah, get him back in the game for a minute. I was absolutely okay with it. I absolutely wanted Doc Rivers to put Joel Embiid back in the game to get his 50th point. And the other game where maybe he's only got a normal 25, 30, 35 points, whatever, and you're blowing the team out in the fourth quarter, keep him on the sidelines, keep him on the bench. You don't need him to go back in. But when it was something like a 50-point game to put on his highlight reel for MVP, on his resume for MVP, get him back in the game. Was fine with it last night to get him back in the game to get the 50 points. So a great decision by Doc Rivers. I know that it mattered to Joel Embiid, obviously, because he ended up going back in the game. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I know most people, I wanted the rest. I have a concern about him getting rest as the season goes on, and he shouldn't have to play as much as he played last night against a team like the Magic. But if it was about to get 50, then by all means, put him in for one more. And by the way, it wasn't like the Sixers didn't need him throughout that game. Now, they didn't need him to go in and get 50 points, to go in at the end of the game to get 50 for the sole purpose of getting to 50. They didn't need him to do that. But throughout the game, they needed him. It was, again, the Philadelphia Joel Embiid's last night. It was the old cartoon, like, leading off, center field, Bugs Bunny, playing third base, Bugs Bunny, playing first base, Bugs Bunny, pitching, Bugs Bunny, catching, Bugs Bunny. Like, that's what it was last night. There's the Walter Winchell voice again. You're welcome, John. But that's what it was last night, watching the Sixers. So it was pretty legit. James Harden, I'm still wishy-washy on, man. If it's low send for him, I'm cool with it. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of James Harden right now in his career. I know he'd be better than a lot of what you got. I know he'd be that solid number 2 guy with Joel Embiid. I know he'd be that solid number 2 guy. So I'll put it this way. If you're taking away Tobias Harris and you're adding James Harden, yeah, okay. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I see I started the Anchorman quotes. Tim Marsh, best movie ever? Yes. I will say that voice is like my internal monologue is Ron Burgundy. That is the voice in my head. When I think about anything, usually anything in a sarcastic tone, which is like 99% of my thoughts, it's Ron Burgundy's voice. And I remember when that movie came out, I was still in college, and my buddy's right, you got to see this movie. If you haven't seen this, you got to see this. And I remember watching it and just thinking Will Ferrell was in his basement with like Adam McKay and Judd Apatow and those guys. And like, he was just like writing like a mad scientist, like on a big table with a pen and pencil, whatever, just writing, this is hilarious. And just like by candlelight and thinking, oh, this doesn't make any sense, but isn't this ridiculous? And in one of the outtakes, he says to Christina Applegate in the scene where they're talking about where they go above San Diego, drink it in. That whole scene, Whale's vagina, you know what I'm talking about? During the outtakes, Will Ferrell looks over to Christina Applegate as he can't get the line out. He's just laughing. And he stops and he just goes, this is the most ridiculous thing and they just lose it. They're laughing their asses off in the outtakes. And I was just like, that's probably how they approached this entire movie. This is the most ridiculous thing. Jack Black comes out of nowhere and punts Baxter off a bridge. What? That's how I roll. I could go on all day with Anchorman quotes. I love Scotchy. Howie sounds like an actual weasel. Buddy T-Mac, I don't disagree. No touching of the hair or face. Mark hit the wrong button again. Technical difficulties. Mally, I'm an idiot. And Alyssa, welcome in, Alyssa. Kevin, Mopar, alcohol. What? Oh, for those guys. Yeah. Oh, this is the part where I actually played the clip of the thing. Yeah, they look like those guys did have a bit of a bender, to say the least. Love cheesy, love lamp. Grandmaster, what's up? Grandmaster UV, what's up? Do you really love the lamp brick? Dan Schwartz, all options are open for us, Jalen, but you're definitely our quarterback, but all options are open. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Phil, what's up, Phil? Al, 2 hours, Farzy? Not yet. Mally, we're getting later and later with these guests. 2-hour show is coming. Well, here's the deal. Because I'm a big fat idiot, I have the technical aptitude of Brick from Anchorman. That's why we're a little later today. I want to give you your money's worth. I said we'd do an hour. I give you an hour, and then we'll give you more eventually. Wait, hold on a minute here. Who's blaming PJ? Don't you dare! You bite your tongue, sir. Blame me. Don't just blame me. I'm telling you. Accountability, okay? I want our sports teams to have the amount of accountability that we have on the Farzy show. When you make a mistake, you say you made the mistake, you own the mistake. I'm owning the mistake. The mistakes, plural. Maybe I will do a post-show press conference. You guys can just ask me anything about the show. Oh, in that clip, I condensed the 30-minute press conference to 2.5 minutes, and that's where you guys heard it, and it didn't work out. I thought it would. I thought I'd put our sound bites in a better position to appeal and relay my points, and I didn't do that, and that's on me. I take full responsibility. By the way, see Andy Reid compare getting back and winning another Super Bowl to chocolate cake? Is that the most Andy Reid soundbite ever? Anyway. Maaddi looks like... Okay, now this is where you guys got crazy with my friend Rob Maaddi. Mally. Maaddi looks like he just stepped out of a strip club to do this video. What the hell is wrong with you guys? John, if we don't extend the show, I hope both sides of Farzi's pillow are warm. Wow! You're a horrible man. You're a horrible man. Coming to the stage, Rob Maaddi. April, that's one of my favorite lines from you ever. Benny, what's going on? Glad Farzy clarified. Yeah, I think the story of my life is I say something and then I'm like, no! I think my brain lives in a constant state of, what the hell did you just say? No! If my brain had arms, it would be constantly reaching out to try to grab words and shove them back on my own face. No! Take those back. Yes, but when I said he went to the park to watch girls, not exactly the best. Totally accidental. Not exactly the best way to phrase that. Anyway, totally needed to clarify. Yes, I did need to clarify. His daughter said, Daddy, take me to the park. He said, because he's a loving father, a doting father, he took his lovely daughters to the park. There you go. Twins. Beautiful girls. Nice girls. Fire Farzy. Who do we take out? What the hell? Who are we taking out? What's that? Oh, April, it's a great point. It's Florida. Sunny in one direction, stormy in another. Mopar, jump in your car and follow me to the Pine Barrens. Back in the strip club idea. Maaddi told Marc, we got to make this quick. Cinema's about to get on stage. Don't want to miss Cinnamon. She's fantastic. Depending on the weather center in Florida, Ben Simmons. It's not science. It's not a science. I'm not a science guy. But how did it get pitch black in 5 minutes, right? Marc really exercises? I wouldn't say that I do. Farzy gets the game at chicken? I don't know. Wait, Kenny Pickett's a first-round pick. Why is this a debate? He is a first-round pick. I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. Mark, you need to ask me anything segment. We've done stuff like that. The best. Julian, what's up? How are you? My inner monologue is George Carlin. Wow, April, that's great. Farzy is on PJ's shoulders. All right, that's where all right, guys. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you as per usual. Gabe, what's going on? Nice to have you. Farzy, let's get the game of the chicken. Farzy, let's get the game of the chicken. I'm in the pool. Oh, like that. No, I don't play chicken with dudes. It has to be girl, right? Why am I even? Yes, it has to be a girl on your shoulders. That's my rule of playing chicken. All right. Anyway, thanks. Read it. I don't know what to read, Benny. There's a lot going on here. But anyway, thanks everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys as always. Fantastic stuff. You guys really brought the fire. Benny, I don't know what to read here. Still think it's PJ. Confidence to do PJ underwater. Leg. What the hell? Benny, I will not be bullied. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. What do I have here? Dimension of Joel Embiid stats. Sixers host the Clippers tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, not playing. Flyers, Blue Jackets tonight, 7 o'clock. Puck drop, South Philadelphia. Flyers have lost 9 in a row. Hopefully snap that losing streak. Cap it off at 9 and don't get to 10. Please, dear Lord Almighty, let that happen. Not get to 10. Win tonight is what I'm saying. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are fantastic. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. Be back with you guys tomorrow for some more of the Farzy Show here from the Steven Singer Studios. Have a great day, everybody. Take it easy.